The night of forgotten dreams, Luna Rivera adjusted her telescope one last time, watching the stars dance across the midnight sky. The city observatory had become her second home, a place where she could lose herself in the endless mysteries of the universe. At 26, she had dedicated her life to understanding the cosmos, finding peace in the predictable movements of celestial bodies when everything else in her world felt uncertain. Her research grant was running thin, and she knew her position at the observatory was hanging by a thread. The funding committee had made it clear that unless she produced groundbreaking results soon, her project would be terminated. Tonight, like many others, she stayed late, hoping to capture something extraordinary through her lens. The charity gala invitation had been sitting on her desk for weeks. Evening under the stars, it read, promising a night of fundraising for scientific research. Luna rarely attended such events, preferring the company of her telescopes to crowds of wealthy donors. But desperation had a way of changing perspectives, and she needed to network if she wanted to save her career. She slipped into her only formal dress, simple black number that hugged her curves in all the right places. Her dark hair cascaded over her shoulders as she applied minimal makeup, her natural beauty needing little enhancement. The venue was spectacular, a rooftop garden with the city skyline stretching endlessly below. The gala was in full swing when she arrived. Crystal chandeliers cast dancing shadows across the crowd, while soft jazz music filled the air. Luna felt out of place among the glittering elite. Nursing a glass of champagne while watching conversations she couldn't join, that's when she saw him. Sebastian. Knight stood near the edge of the rooftop, his dark hair perfectly styled and as tailored, suit emphasizing his tall, athletic frame. There was something magnetic about him, the way he carried himself with quiet confidence, while his piercing blue eyes seemed to see everything and everyone around him. When their gazes met across the crowded space, Luna felt an electric jolt run through her body. He approached her with the grace of a predator, his smile both charming and mysterious. "You look like someone who would rather be anywhere else," he said, his voice carrying a hint of amusement. Luna laughed despite herself. "Is it that obvious? It's only to someone who feels the same way?" Sebastian extended his hand. "I'm Sebastian, and you are far too interesting to be standing alone." "Luna," she replied, feeling warmth spread through her as their hands touched, "and I'm not usually interesting to anyone, and they haven't been paying attention." Their conversation flowed like water, moving from the superficial pleasantries of the gala to deeper topics that surprised them both. Sebastian seemed genuinely fascinated by her work, asking thoughtful questions about her research while sharing his own passion for exploration and discovery. He spoke of traveling to remote places, of seeking experiences that challenged everything he thought he knew about the world. As the evening progressed, they found themselves gravitating toward quieter corners of the venue, away from the crowd, and closer to each other. Luna discovered that Sebastian had an encyclopedic knowledge of astronomy, discussing constellations and cosmic phenomena with an enthusiasm that matched her own. "Have you ever wondered if we're alone out there?" he asked, gesturing toward the star-filled sky above them. "Every single day," Luna admitted. "Sometimes I think the universe is trying to tell us something, and we're just not listening carefully enough." Sebastian moved closer, his hand finding hers as they stood at the rooftop's edge. "Maybe tonight the universe is telling us something different." The chemistry between them was undeniable, a pull so strong it seemed to defy gravity itself.
When
Sebastian suggested they continue their conversation somewhere more private. Luna found herself saying yes without hesitation. She had never been impulsive, never trusted someone so quickly. But something about this man made her want to throw caution to the wind. They went to his penthouse apartment, stunning space with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the city. Luna barely noticed the luxury around her. Her attention was completely focused on Sebastian, on the way he looked at her as if she were the most fascinating discovery he had ever made. Their first kiss was gentle, tentative, but it quickly deepened into something more passionate and desperate. Luna felt herself melting into his embrace, her usual reserve disappearing as desire took control. Sebastian's hands explored her body with reverent care, as if he were mapping uncharted territory. They made love with an intensity that surprised them both, their bodies moving together in perfect harmony, while the stars watched from above. Luna had never experienced anything like it. The way Sebastian seemed to anticipate her every need. The way he whispered her name like a prayer against her skin. Afterward, they lay tangled in his silk sheets, talking until dawn about everything and nothing. Sebastian traced patterns on her bare shoulder while she rested her head on his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. For the first time in years, Luna felt completely content, as if she had found something she didn't even know she was looking for. "I have to travel tomorrow," Sebastian said quietly, his fingers still moving across her skin. "Business calls, unfortunately." "When will you be back?" Luna asked, trying to keep the disappointment out of her voice. "Soon," he promised, pressing a kiss to the top of her head. "This isn't over, Luna. What we have is special." She fell asleep in his arms, feeling safe and cherished in a way she had never experienced before. When she woke up, sunlight was streaming through the windows, and Sebastian was gone. No note, no explanation. It's just an empty space where he had been lying beside her. Luna searched the apartment for any sign of him, any clue about where he had gone, or how to reach him. But it was as if Sebastian Knight had vanished into thin air, leaving her with nothing but the memory of the most incredible night of her life, and a growing certainty that she had been nothing more than a beautiful distraction to him. Falling through the cracks, 3 months had passed since that magical night, and Luna's world had crumbled piece by piece. She stared at the positive pregnancy test in her trembling hands, the 2 pink lines confirming what her body had been telling her for weeks. The nausea, the exhaustion, the way her clothes had started fitting differently. It all made sense now. She was carrying Sebastian's child. She had no way to reach him. Luna had tried everything to find him. She contacted the charity gala organizers, but they claimed no Sebastian Knight had been on their guest list. She searched social media, business directories, even hired a private investigator with money she couldn't afford to spend. Every lead turned into a dead end, as if the man she had spent that incredible night with had never existed at all. The timing couldn't have been worse. 2 weeks after discovering her pregnancy, Luna received the letter she had been dreading. The observatory was cutting her research program due to budget constraints. Her funding was gone, her position terminated, and her dreams of making groundbreaking discoveries scattered like stardust in the wind. "I'm sorry, Luna," Dr. Patricia Wells, the observatory director, had said with genuine regret. "Your work is exceptional, but we simply don't have the resources to continue. I wish there was another way." Luna packed her personal belongings from the observatory with tears streaming down her face. The telescope that had been her constant companion, the star charts covering her desk, the research notes that represented years of dedication, all of it felt meaningless now. She was 26, pregnant, and unemployed. With a savings account that was dwindling faster than she could count, her small apartment felt like a prison. As she spent days applying for jobs that never called back, being pregnant made interviews awkward, even though employers weren't supposed to discriminate. Luna could see the hesitation in their eyes, the quick calculations about maternity leave and reliability. She started wearing loose clothes and scheduling appointments carefully. But the job market remained stubbornly closed to her. The morning sickness was relentless. Luna would wake up each day feeling like she was drowning, barely able to keep down crackers and ginger tea. Her mother called regularly from across the country, offering to help. But Luna was too proud to admit how desperate her situation had become. She had always been independent, always found a way to solve her own problems, but this felt insurmountable. Bills piled up on her kitchen table like accusatory letters. Rent, utilities, groceries, prenatal vitamins she could barely afford. Every expense felt like another weight pulling her underwater. Luna sold her jewelry, her books, even her grandmother's antique telescope that had inspired her love of astronomy. Each sale felt like losing another piece of herself. The free clinic became her lifeline for prenatal care. Luna sat in uncomfortable plastic chairs surrounded by other women who looked as overwhelmed as she felt. The nurses were kind, but overworked, rushing through appointments without time for the questions that kept her awake at night. Would her baby be healthy? Was she eating enough? Could stress harm the child growing inside her? Dr. Victoria Hayes was different from the other medical professionals Luna had encountered. A woman in her 40s with kind eyes and graying hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, she took time to listen when Luna came in for her 12-week appointment. "How are you feeling beyond the physical symptoms?" Dr. Hayes asked, studying Luna's chart with concern. "I see you're here alone. You have support at home?" Luna's composure cracked for the first time in weeks. "I'm managing," she said, but her voice betrayed her. "Managing isn't the same as thriving," Dr. Hayes said gently. "Being pregnant is hard enough without facing it alone. Are you eating regularly? Getting enough rest?" The honest answer was no to both questions, but Luna nodded anyway. She couldn't afford the nutritious foods her body craved. Couldn't sleep when anxiety kept her mind racing through worst-case scenarios. Some nights she lay awake calculating how many months her remaining savings would last, wondering what would happen when the money ran out completely. The breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon in late autumn. Luna had spent the morning at another fruitless job interview, walking miles to save on bus fare. The interviewer had been polite but dismissive, clearly unimpressed by her academic credentials and obvious pregnancy. Exhausted and discouraged, she decided to stop by the public library to use their internet and apply for more positions. The world started spinning as she climbed the library steps. Black spots danced at the edges of her vision, and she grabbed the handrail for support. But her legs gave out anyway, and Luna collapsed on the concrete steps, her purse scattering its meager contents across the sidewalk. When she opened her eyes, a man was kneeling beside her, his face creased with concern. He was older than Sebastian, probably in his mid-30s, with warm brown eyes and sandy hair that looked like he ran his fingers through it often. His suit was expensive, but understated, and there was something reassuringly solid about his presence. "Don't try to sit up yet," he said, his voice calm and authoritative. "I've called an ambulance. Just breathe. You can't afford an ambulance." Luna whispered, panic cutting through her dizziness. "Please, I'm fine. I just need a minute." The man, Damien, he introduced himself, ignored her protests and stayed with her until the paramedics arrived. He rode with her to the hospital, held her purse when her hands shook too much to grip it, and somehow made sure she didn't have to worry about the mounting medical bills at the hospital. Dr. Hayes was called in as Luna's attending physician. She took one look at Luna's pale face and hollow cheeks and ordered a comprehensive blood panel, along with monitoring for the baby. "You're severely dehydrated and malnourished," Dr. Hayes explained after reviewing the results. "Your blood sugar is dangerously low, and your iron levels indicate anemia." When was the last time you had a proper meal? Luna couldn't remember. Days blurred together in a haze of crackers and worry, job applications and rejection letters. She had been so focused on making her money last that she had forgotten to take care of herself and, by extension, her unborn child. Damien had waited in the hospital corridor for hours, even though Luna was a complete stranger to him. When Dr. Hayes discharged her with strict instructions about nutrition and rest, he was there with a concerned expression and an offer she couldn't refuse. "Let me drive you home," he said simply. "Maybe we can stop for some groceries on the way." Luna wanted to refuse, wanted to maintain what little dignity she had left, but she was too tired to fight anymore. Damien's car was a sleek black sedan that probably cost more than she had ever made in a year, but he drove carefully and kept the conversation light. Seeming to sense her fragility, at the grocery store he quietly took charge, filling a cart with nutritious foods while Luna watched in amazement. Fresh vegetables, lean proteins, prenatal vitamins, herbal teas for nausea, everything she needed but couldn't afford. When she tried to protest, he simply said, "Consider it an investment in the future." Back at her apartment, Damien helped carry the groceries upstairs, his eyes taking in the sparse furnishings and stack of unpaid bills on her table. He didn't comment on her circumstances, but Luna saw understanding in his expression, along with something that looked like determination. "I have a proposition for you," he said as they finished putting away the food. "I run a technology company, and we're always looking for talented researchers. Your background in astronomy and data analysis could be valuable for some projects we're developing." Luna stared at him, hardly daring to hope. You don't even know me. I know you're intelligent, determined, and facing challenges that no one should have to face alone, Damien replied. Sometimes the universe puts people in our path for a reason. Maybe today was one of those days. As he left that evening, pressing his business card into her hand and promising to call the next day, Luna felt something she hadn't experienced in months. Hope. Maybe her story wasn't over after all. Maybe this was just the beginning of a new chapter, one where she wouldn't have to face everything alone. Love built on trust. 6 months later, Luna's life had transformed in ways she never could have imagined. Working for Damien's company, Stellar Dynamics, had given her more than just financial stability. It had restored her sense of purpose. The position he had offered wasn't charity disguised as employment. Her astronomical expertise was genuinely valuable for their satellite navigation projects. Damien had kept his distance at first, maintaining professional boundaries while ensuring Luna had everything she needed. The company provided excellent health insurance, flexible hours that accommodated her doctor appointments, and a salary that allowed her to move into a better apartment with a nursery for her growing baby. But as weeks turned into months, something deeper began developing between them. It started with small gestures, Damien bringing her ginger tea when morning sickness struck during meetings, staying late to help her with complex calculations, remembering details about her preferences that most bosses would never notice. Luna was 7 months pregnant now, her belly round and prominent beneath the flowing dresses she had grown to prefer. She felt beautiful in a way she never had before, her skin glowing with health and her hair thick and lustrous. The baby moved constantly, little feet pressing against her ribs as if eager to explore the world beyond her womb. The satellite trajectory. Calculations are perfect, Damien said, reviewing her latest project from across his office desk. Your precision continues to amaze our entire engineering team. Luna smiled, absently rubbing her belly as the baby performed what felt like acrobatic stunts. I never thought my stargazing would have such practical applications. Speaking of stars, Damien said, his tone becoming more personal, I have something to show you. He led her to an elevator she had never seen before, one that required a special keycard to access. They rode up past the regular office floors to what appeared to be a hidden level at the top of the building. When the doors opened, Luna gasped. The entire floor was a state-of-the-art observatory, complete with professional-grade telescopes and computer systems that made her old equipment look primitive. City lights twinkled far below through the glass walls, while above them, a retractable roof offered access to the night sky. How is this possible? Luna whispered, moving toward the main telescope with reverence. I've been funding astronomy research programs for years, Damien admitted, watching her face carefully. When budget cuts started destroying important projects, I decided to take matters into my own hands. This observatory has been supporting 12 different research initiatives across the country. Luna turned to face him, understanding dawning. In her eyes, you funded my original research, didn't you? Before the official grants ran out. Damien nodded. Your work on stellar formation patterns was too important to let die in committee meetings. I've been following your publications for 3 years, Luna. That night I found you outside the library. It wasn't coincidence. I was coming to find you anyway. The revelation should have felt manipulative, but instead Luna felt overwhelmed by the thoughtfulness behind his actions. Damien hadn't rescued her out of pity or obligation. He had recognized her worth long before she was pregnant and desperate. Why didn't you tell me? She asked softly. Because I wanted you to trust me for who I am, not what I could provide, Damien replied, stepping closer. Wanted whatever developed between us to be real. The baby chose that moment to deliver a particularly strong kick, making Luna wince and place both hands on her belly. Without thinking, Damien moved to support her, his hands covering hers as they felt the movement together. Strong little one, he murmured, and Luna saw wonder in his eyes as the baby seemed to respond to his voice with another series of movements. Damien, Luna began, not sure how to express the gratitude and growing affection that filled her heart, but her words were interrupted by a voice from behind them. Luna, what the hell is going on here? She turned to see Sebastian Knight standing in the observatory doorway, looking exactly as devastatingly handsome as he had 9 months ago. His dark hair was perfectly styled, his expensive suit impeccable, but there was something predatory in his expression that she didn't remember from their magical night together. "Sebastian," Luna breathed, shock making her voice barely audible. "How did you find me?" "I've been looking for months," he said, his eyes moving from her face to her pregnant belly with unmistakable calculation. "When I heard about your connection to stellar dynamics, I had to see for myself. Is that my child?" Damien stepped protectively closer to Luna, his jaw tightening as he assessed this unexpected visitor. "And you are." "The father," Sebastian said, with arrogant confidence. "Though I see someone else has been playing house with my family." Luna felt anger rising in her chest, burning away the shock of seeing him again. "Your family? You disappeared without a word, Sebastian. I tried to find you for months. Where were you when I was sick and alone? Where were you when I collapsed?" "From hunger? I had business to handle," Sebastian said dismissively, as if that explained everything. "But I'm here now, and I want to be part of my child's life. We can work something out." "Work something out?" Luna's voice rose with indignation.
Ow.
"This isn't a business negotiation, Sebastian.
Ow.
This is my life. My baby." "Our baby," Sebastian corrected, his tone becoming more aggressive. "And I have rights. I can provide better than this setup you have here. I know about your financial struggles, Luna. I can take care of you properly." Damien had remained silent during this exchange, but now he spoke with quiet authority. "I think you should leave. Luna doesn't need to be upset in her condition." Sebastian laughed, a sound without warmth. "And who are you to make that decision? Her employer? Her sugar daddy? At least I'm the real father here." The cruel words hit their mark, and Luna felt tears threatening. But instead of crumbling, she found strength she didn't know she possessed. The past months of struggle and recovery had changed her, made her stronger and more self-aware. "You're right about one thing, Sebastian," she said, her voice steady. "Despite her emotional turmoil, you are the biological father of my baby. That's all you are. Damien has been here through doctor appointments, through sleepless nights when I was scared and alone, through every milestone and worry. He's earned the right to care about what happens to us. So you're choosing him over me?" Sebastian asked, as if the answer mattered to him personally rather than just his ego. Luna looked between the two men, Sebastian with his polished charm and sense of entitlement, Damien with his quiet strength and genuine concern for her well-being. The choice was clearer than she could have imagined. "I'm choosing myself," she said firmly. "I'm choosing someone who sees me as a partner, not a possession. Someone who values my dreams as much as his own. Someone who is there when I needed him most, not someone who shows up when it's convenient." Sebastian's face darkened with anger and wounded pride. "You'll regret this, Luna. I can offer you things he never could." "Like abandonment and false promises?" Luna shot back. "I've had enough of those to last a lifetime." After Sebastian stormed out, leaving threats about lawyers and custody battles hanging in the air, Luna collapsed into a chair, emotionally exhausted. Damien knelt beside her, taking her hands in his warm, steady grip. "Are you okay?" he asked, his eyes full of concern. "I'm better than okay," Luna realized with surprise. "For the first time in months, I know exactly where I stand and what I want." Damien smiled, the expression transforming his usually serious face. "And what do you want, Luna Rivera?" She reached up to touch his cheek, feeling the slight roughness of stubble beneath her palm. "I want someone who believes in me. Someone who thinks my dreams are worth fighting for. One who wants to build a future together instead of trying to recreate the past." "I can be that someone," Damien said softly, leaning into her touch, "if you'll let me." When he kissed her, it was nothing like the desperate passion she had shared with Sebastian. This was deeper, more meaningful, a promise of partnership and mutual respect rather than just desire. Luna felt her baby respond to her happiness with gentle movements, as if blessing this new beginning. 3 months later, Luna gave birth to a healthy daughter with dark hair and curious eyes that seemed to take in everything around her. Damien was there for every moment, holding Luna's hand through labor and crying when he first held the baby girl they named Stella. Sebastian had made good on his threats. hiring lawyers and demanding paternity tests and visitation rights. When faced with the reality of actual parenting rather than just the concept of having a child, his interest quickly waned. He sent support payments through his attorneys, but never asked to see Stella, apparently preferring the idea of being a father to the responsibility of actually being one. Luna didn't mind. She had everything she needed in Damien's steady presence and Stella's bright smiles. Her research career had flourished under Damien's support. She was already planning new projects that would push the boundaries of astronomical discovery. As she stood in the observatory one evening, Stella sleeping peacefully in her arms, while Damien adjusted the telescope settings, Luna marveled at how different her life had become. She had thought that night with Sebastian was the beginning of her love story, but she had been wrong. This was her real beginning, built on trust, respect, and the kind of love that grew stronger through challenges rather than fading when tested. The stars above held infinite possibilities. And for the first time in her life, Luna felt ready to explore them all.